All right. Good evening, everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd. The time is 6:30 p.m. And I am calling this meeting of the Macomb Township Board of Trustees to order, and we will say the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Posey, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Trustee Cusimano?
Here.
Trustee Lucido?
Here.
Trustee Papa?
Here.
Trustee Oliver?
Here.
Treasurer Gillette?
Here.
Clerk Posey here. Supervisor Viviano?
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Mr. Chairman, I have a proposed add-on under the Fire Department item number 15. Request to award Fire Station number 2 renovation contract to Quadrant Construction in the amount of $2,065,550.
Motion to approve the addition?
Trustee Kuzma supports the motion.
Is there any questions or discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Kuzmano, to approve the agenda with the addition. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to approval of the bills. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Trustee Kuzma supports the motion.
Are there any questions or discussion on any of the bills? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Kuzmano, to approve the bills. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Technical problems, Charlie?
No, I just forgot. Did have, but didn't the rest.
Did you fall asleep over there? All right, moving on to approval of the previous meeting's minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
Is there any discussion on the minutes from April 9th? Motion by Trustee Lucido, supported by Trustee Papa, to approve the previous meeting's minutes from April 9th. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. All right, this will take us to our first public comment. This is for agenda items only. Anyone who wishes to make a comment on an agenda item may do so now at the microphone at the right-hand side of the room. I don't see anyone making a move, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, move the consent agenda in its entirety.
Support.
Is there any questions or discussion on any of the consent items? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Papa, to approve the consent agenda. Members, please vote.
Yeah.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, this will take us to item number 9. This is an item that was postponed from the previous meeting, and it is a request to adopt an amended resolution ordering the establishment of a special assessment street lighting district for Wolverine Country Club Estates Site Condominium Phase 3.
So move.
Support.
Mr. Van Tifflin, you want to remind us what this was about real quick?
Yes, this is a street light that has been added to the subdivision, or is being added to the subdivision. This was at the request of the Homeowners Association. They provided some paperwork indicating that they had had some discussion amongst themselves. They wrote the township a check and requested the street light to go in. At the last meeting, the board considered the resolution that would actually add this to the existing special assessment district. That's what the amendment is about. So since then, we've had some discussion with the township attorney, provided all of the paperwork that we had on what had happened up to this point. We had been working with some of his colleagues over at Ben Aloy's office. I think we're at this point satisfied that everything has been done as far as covering the township, and I think we're ready to move forward on if everybody's comfortable with establishing this amendment to the special assessment.
I would concur.
So I'm sure the board remembers, but just for the sake of everybody else, it was postponed because a couple of members of the community where this SED would be assessed, came in and expressed some concerns about their internal process. So we took a beat and had just another look at it. And
That's correct.
Mr. Tomlinson, you're satisfied that the township has followed all the proper protocols?
I am.
Any questions or discussion on this item from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I just would note, again, for the record, that as far as I know, there's been no action for judicial intervention as to the requested amendment.
So noted, trustee Kuzma. Anyone else? Motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by trustee Oliver, to adopt an amended resolution ordering the establishment of a special assessment street lighting district for Wolverine Country Club Estates condominiums Phase 3. Clerk Posey, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Treasurer Drollet?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Trustee Kuzma?
Yes.
Trustee Lucido?
Yes.
Trustee Papa?
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Treasurer Drollet? Oh, I'm sorry, Supervisor Viviano.
Yes, that resolution is adopted.
Still yes over here.
You weren't clear the first time. All right, that'll take us to our new business. First item is number 10, is a request to approve the geotechnical engineering services for Lucido River Park in the amount of $42,566.47.
So moved.
Support.
Mr. Van Tifflin.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members, as the board, I believe, is aware, the township is in the process of pursuing a grant to install at least the first phase of the boardwalk and pathway at Lucido River Park. Should we be awarded that grant, we would have to move on to design. In order to facilitate that as quickly as possible, assuming that the township was to receive this grant, we are asking permission to do proactively the geotechnical work that's necessary in order to complete the design. Because the area that the boardwalk and pathway will be installed is in a floodplain and is wet most of the year, this work would probably need to be done in July or August. So what we're proposing to do is do all the work in July and August this year. So whenever we get word that we've received the grant, if we're so awarded, we'd be able to hit the ground running. If we don't do it this year, then it would take another year before we would be able to get back out there and do this work. So we're asking for permission. We've received a quote from our geotechnical consultant that we have on retainer, and that's what's before you tonight, and we're recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Van Tifflin. And if for some chance we don't get the grant, this work will still need to be done in advance of any work we do at Lucido Park.
And any design work will be dependent on the information that comes from this geotechnical investigation. So whenever we do this work, whether it's this year, next year, and so on, we'll have this work ready to go.
Okay. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Chairman, does the work ever go stale or?
Not geotechnical work. If it was a survey, topographic survey, let's say, maybe as, the river, has sediment that builds up or something, but I don't anticipate anything changing. What they're really looking for is what's the ground like where the supports for the boardwalk would go, what kind of ground is it in, so they can design the supports, the foundation properly.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none. Motion by trustee Oliver, supported by treasurer Drollet, to approve the geotechnical engineering services for Lucido River Park in the amount of $42,566.47. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. This will take us to item 11, is a request to rezone 55540 Luckman Road, parcel ID 0804300027, from agricultural to residential single family.
Support. Or sorry, motion to approve.
Support.
Any questions or I'm sorry. Mr. Box, why don't you give us some background before I ask
Thank you,
that
Mr.
question?
Chairman and Board. The property, as you mentioned, is on Luckman Road, a little bit north of 25 Mile. It's roughly 1 acre in size, a little bit bigger than an acre. and the applicant is just seeking to rezone from ag to R1. That does match the master plan. This went to the last planning commission meeting and was recommended for approval unanimously by the planning commission.
Thank you, Mr. Box. Now, is there any questions or discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none. Motion by trustee Papa, supported by clerk Posey, to rezone 55540 Luckman, parcel ID 080433300027 from agricultural to residential single family. Members, please vote. And the motion passes unanimously. This will take us to item 12, is a request to adopt a code of ordinance amendment to section 4-41, hunting permitted.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Mr. Box.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. The township's hunting ordinance, the original version of it was written in the 1980s. It was amended once in 1991. There are a number of different boundaries based on caliber of the weapon that they're using, and there's actually a conflict in one of the boundaries, but obviously the township has developed significantly since 1991. There are a number of areas where certain rifles and weapons are allowed for hunting still, where there would be no person hunting. They're all houses at this point. So rather than continuing to redraw the line of where hunting might be acceptable, we felt it was best to just defer to state law, which is what this ordinance is suggesting.
Thank you, Mr. Box.
Mr. Chair, if I may?
Yes.
So state law provides for restrictions within a certain distance of inhabited buildings or occupied buildings, that sort of thing. So effectively what we're doing, we're not doing anything more restrictive than state law already would allow.
Correct.
So there's no restrictions being imposed. It is just whatever the law currently allows is what the township will adopt.
Correct.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Just to add to that, and when a hunter gets their license to hunt, they'll have all that information available to them, where they can hunt, how close they can hunt to a building, a house, a school, whatever. So, yeah, and again, we're not changing nothing in the, we're still allowing hunting. I think
Correct.
that's the main thing.
If I could follow up.
Yep, go ahead.
So effectively, our current hunting guidelines or ordinance is could be in many ways more restrictive than state ordinance, because we can't be less restrictive than the state ordinance.
Correct.
State governs. So we
Correct.
could be more restrictive if we wanted to, and we're choosing not to be more restrictive or necessarily meddle in that, and just let the state guidelines be the guiding.
That's
principle.
correct.
Good.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none. Motion by Treasurer Lett, supported by Trustee Oliver, to adopt a code of ordinance amendment to section 4-41, hunting permitted. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. This will take us to item 13. This is a request to approve the purchase of cardio equipment for the rec center in the amount of $149,630.30.
So moved.
Support.
Gina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, board members. The Parks and Recreation Department is requesting permission to purchase cardio equipment for the Recreation Center. We put these items on Mitten and received 4 bids. This time, we are recommending the purchasing of 13 items from Direct Fitness Solutions in the amount of $76,160, 12 items from All Pro Fitness Things in the amount of $63,428, and 6 items from Design to Wellness Matrix in the amount of $34,610. We are purchasing 31 new units, which include treadmills, ellipticals, steppers, and bikes. This is a total of $174,198. We would also receive $24,567.70 buyback from the last contract. This leaves a total cost of $149,630.30. I have included the bids and the confirmation of process memo from the purchasing specialist. This is a budgeted item, and I am available for questions.
Thank you.
Yep.
And just for clarity, this is not just only a budgeted item, but this is a routine purchase. So whenever we purchase equipment, we anticipate the useful life, and these are equipment throughout the rec center is replaced on an annual basis in some way, shape, or form, correct?
Every 3 years.
Okay.
So if I may, Mr.
Yep.
Chair, thank you. So the equipment that we're being switched out is equipment we already own. It's effectively 3 years old at this point, is that correct?
That's accurate.
And so we're selling it back to the company that we purchased it from and then swapping in the new equipment.
Yes, in essence, yes, that is correct. They have a obligation, each company, to buy it back. If another company wants to buy it back at a higher price, and some of these companies, we do this on purpose so we can get competitive pricing, decides to buy the whole lot for more money, we would sell it to them.
Thank you.
Any questions, any other questions or discussion?
Just one.
Yes, go ahead.
So what do we normally get? 3 years, 4 years, all this stuff?
We go 3 years because that's what the parts and labor is. So on the heavy equipment like treadmills, you know they're gonna get, you know, you gotta switch those out. But stuff like bicycles and cycles that don't get that heavy pounding, we're not worried about the 3 year. We may keep it and buy it for 2 cycles and then get rid of it.
So, in that 3-year period, we start with new equipment. We got full warranty on that.
Full warranty.
Yeah, so we don't get no service charges or nothing then by doing that.
No, not on those.
That's good. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, hearing none. Motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Treasurer Gillette, to approve the purchase of the cardio equipment for the rec center. Total cost of $149,630.30. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. All right, this will take us to item 14. This is a request to schedule the 2025-2026 Macomb Township Budget Public Hearings for May 13th and for June 11th, 2025.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Do you have anything to throw on this, Stacy? This is just scheduling of public hearings. We do this every year. By law, we are required to have one public hearing. Macomb Township has always had 2, and that's what this is. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Clerk Posey, to schedule the 2025-2026 Macomb Township Budget Public Hearings for May 13th and June 11th, 2025. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. This will take us to the add-on. This is a request to award Fire Station Number 2 renovation contract to Cadre Construction, $2,065,550. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Chief?
Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, I'm requesting your approval this evening to award Fire Station 2 addition and renovation project to Quadrate Construction. For the past 16 months, we've worked with AEW to develop plans and specifications for the project. The project will consist of the construction of 720 square foot addition, 8,160 square feet renovation, and installation to the existing walls of Fire Stations 3 and 4. A total of 8 proposals were received by the township on March 27th. 8 proposals were evaluated and scored based on professional qualifications, past involvement with similar projects, proposed work plan, schedule, and fee proposal. The evaluation team consisted of Supervisor Viviano, DPW Director Johnson, myself, Deputy Chief Monroe, and Mark McPartland from AEW. Based on evaluations and interviews, Quadrate Construction is the highest scoring respondent with a base proposal and value engineering items for a total of $2,064,550. Quadrate Construction worked on the Macomb Township basement build-out Phase 1, is currently completing the remodel of the Sarisa 911 dispatch building for Roseville, East Point, and St. Clair Shores, and is currently completing the construction of the Roseville South Fire Station. This project is included in the current and upcoming capital improvement budgets, and if awarded, construction is expected to start this spring with a 154 calendar day completion schedule. I've attached the recommendation of award from AEW along with the scoring sheets, and prior to the start of the meeting, I attached the confirmation of process memo from the purchasing department. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. And before we have any questions, I made an error on the motion itself. The chief cited the correct number. It's I said in the motion, or I asked for 2,065,000. It's 64,550. So does the motion maker approve that correction
Yes.
in the second?
Yep.
Okay, so we can move on. Now, is there any questions or discussion on the awarding of the contract?
When will they start?
Our estimate right now is probably June 1st timeframe,
Good, okay,
completion December.
good.
Mr. Chair, if I may, how does the amount, the bids compare to the budgeted amount? Are we gonna, I believe most of them were over what we had anticipated, is that correct?
Some were over. We have 2.5 million budgeted for the total project, which includes all the soft costs, architectural, the design, so we should still come in under budget on the project.
Great.
One of the significant costs that Chief is still working out is rehousing the fire department while the renovation's going on. So that's that's why the budget was much higher than the contract.
Thank you.
Yep.
I was going
Go ahead.
to kind of follow up with what I think what you're saying. Are they moving the operations around during the renovations?
Take it.
So operations will continue to operate out of Station 2. However, the living area, the sleeping quarters, the kitchen, bathroom, and everything is included in part of the renovations. So according to the contractor, their schedule is right at the start to demolish that portion. So we will relocate into some temporary housing areas there at Station 2 with the apparatus remaining inside the building. And we have some meetings this week with some companies on some options that are available in order to house them and allow them to still operate.
We did a similar thing during the completion of Station 1.
Correct. They lived almost 2 years in a construction trailer during that construction to continue to operate.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Motion by trustee Lucido, supported by trustee Oliver, to award the fire station number 2 renovation contract to Quadrate Construction, the amount of $2,064,550. Members, please vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Chief.
Mr. Supervisor, if I could just real quickly
Yep.
recognize the apparatus committee. As you saw this evening, we had the 2 new engines that were recently delivered out front for the public and the board to look at and see operate. And the apparatus committee was formed in January of 2021 with the purpose of specifying 2 new engines to replace engine 2 and 3 that are currently in excess of the 20-year mark. They started with visiting fire stations across southeast Michigan, looking at newer apparatus that had been delivered, gathering ideas, specifications. Development started in early of 2022. That went through the summer, and in October of 2023, the board awarded the 2 engines to KME. Those were delivered over the last 2 to 3 weeks. And I'd like to recognize the members of the committee, Deputy Chief Monroe, Captain Koss, Captain Stawicki, Lieutenant Nowak, Sergeant Yankowski, Sergeant Denali, and Firefighter Muzinski. There's an incredible amount of time that was spent over that 2.5-year period, and since then, getting us to having them here today. So I would just like to say thank you and recognize them for the work, and especially Deputy Chief Monroe for the work that he has done since they've arrived to get them in service. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you to the apparatus committee for all the extra time and hard work. Much appreciated. The fire trucks look great. Hopefully, if you didn't get a chance to see them up close, there'll be other opportunities in the future at some of our open houses. So with that, we'll move on to public comment. This is for non-agenda items. You may want to do so now. Here comes Kathy Western. We already know your name, so you don't have to say it. Do remember there is a 3-minute time limit.
And I will beg your indulgence in advance. I am way out of practice. I would like to speak to you tonight about the recent publication of the REACH brochure, soon to be called the Macomb Township Magazine, to my understanding. And at first, I would draw your attention to the Winter 2024 REACH catalog with all the parks and recreation materials in it. And this catalog contained a half-page announcement that started with, "We have exciting news to share with you," as Macomb Township so often says. And the exciting news that they had to share is that they will be launching a brand new senior center newsletter called Reach Beyond for older adults age 55 plus. The newsletter will be dedicated to specific programs taking place at the Macomb Township Senior Center, along with essential updates and valuable resources. Programming for the Senior Center will no longer be published in this catalog. Stay tuned for more details in the coming months on how to sign up for this new publication that will showcase all the latest and greatest happenings at the Macomb Township Senior Center. So we waited and anticipated that, in fact, this new publication would be for other things in the senior programs, but in fact, this new publication contains everything but the kitchen sink. The senior programs are in here in the publication. You've probably seen it. The ones delivered to our homes. It's 31 pages. It includes roughly 15 pages of advertising, I assume paid advertising, to cover costs, and included the senior programs. Unfortunately, the amount of space dedicated to senior programs was just 2 pages out of the 31. Now, I am allegedly fairly familiar with the contents of the Parks and Rec publications and the Senior Center publications, and I read this and I said, if I was seeing this for the first time, I would have a lot of questions. And in fact, seeing this for not the first time, I had a lot of questions, not just about the senior part, but about the other activities for adults. I will call your attention to there's a class in here under adult activities called Pound, and that's it. I was like, pound cake, lose pounds, pound.
So Kathy, your 3 minutes is up, so.
Is it really?
It
All
really
right.
is.
Well, I will say to you that I did discuss this. Yesterday, we had a meeting of the Older Adult Advisory Committee at the county. I think many of you are familiar with the fact that I am the District 4 representative to that. I had a chance to talk to Commissioners Perna and Sabatini about this, but we expected more and we would look forward to more, and I'm hoping that, in fact, you will look at allocating much more space to the senior programs in any future publications.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Mr. Piper.
Good evening, Dave Piper, 15889 Van Meter. And first, I'd like to offer my profound apology for missing yesterday's senior, or I should say, historical commission meeting.
Happens to the best of
I
us.
lost my perfect attendance, and I don't have an excuse for it, unfortunately. But I'm also here to plug for the Friends of Macomb Township. We are starting our bottle and can drives that we will be doing on the 4th Sunday of every month, with the exception of May. It'll be a week early in May because of Memorial Weekend. But we do that, we do our $1,000 scholarships that we will be giving away in June. In fact, June 16th, I think, is the date reserved we have for it. Very worthy candidates, and these bottle and can drives, that's our driving force for the money for that. So 11 to 2 in the parking lot of Glen Peters School in Heidenreich, just south of 21 Mile. We'll be there, and hopefully people will give us their donations. We recently had some new fundraisers that we did. We did a bowling fundraiser for the first time because we had a shortfall this year, and we wanted to make sure we continued our $1,000 scholarships. And even though we only had 40 bowlers, we raised almost $1,700 for those scholarships. We also did our pasta dinner last month for Glen Peters School. Unfortunately, I don't have the final numbers yet for that because we had some issues with some sponsor checks and things like that. But I'm told by our treasurer as of this afternoon that it will be more than we made last year. Last year, we gave Glen Peters $4,000 from that. So I'm very pleased to announce that. We're still looking for more ways to raise money, and we're actually looking for more members too. We're a very small organization. It's 100% volunteers, and we have fun. You know, these bottle and can drives, we get some National Honor Society students from Dakota that come and help out, and Ruli's Towing in Mount Clemens gives us a truck, and we're looking forward to raising more money this year. As an added note for this year's festivities, the very first recipient of our scholarship, way back when, before my time even, he at the time was homeless, and Utica Schools helped him through the process. He was living out of a car. We awarded the scholarships for him back then for all 4 years. He ended up becoming a medical doctor, and he's planning on attending our scholarship check giveaway in June, and he's going to be a speaker there. And I'm looking forward to hearing his story because I wasn't around there at the time. But anyway,
great.
I hope people will, support our cause.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, Dave, since you're up there, and if the board would indulge me if I could make one of my board comments early, which I have it written down. So congratulations.
Oh.
Dave, in case you haven't heard, was awarded by the Board of Commissioners as the Outstanding Volunteer for 2025. So
It was quite a
congratulations.
surprise. It really was.
And with that, we will move on to the board comments. Trustee Lucido.
Just congratulations to Mr. Piper, and other than that, I'm good. Thank you.
Trustee Papa.
Yes, also congratulations to Dave. I wanted to take a moment to thank the Macomb Township Fire Department, specifically Chief Phillips, Deputy Chief Monroe, Captain Stawicki. I got to participate in a ride-along this week. Very humbling and inspiring, so thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papa. Trustee Oliver.
Same stuff, Dave. Congratulations, Chief. Thank you, and Adam. Thank you for bringing them fire trucks out. It just proves that Macomb Township Board and the residents and everyone wins when we all work together and get things done. And so to me, being around for a few years, it's a proud moment to see that we're able to do that. So again, thank you. And that's it.
Thank you, Trustee Oliver. Trustee Kuzmano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank Roger Cardeman for getting all the kinks worked out of the automated system for our voting. We've had no issues, and I appreciate the unsung hero. Also, I'd like to thank Catherine Western for her presentation. She's always got intelligent comments and valid critiques of township business, and it's really important that citizens point out where we can do better. And thanks to all the department heads who make their presentation so efficient and well done. This trustee appreciates it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Trustee Kuzmano. Treasurer Gillette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Pfeiffer, congratulations again on the recognition you received. It's well deserved from the people who know you here in Macomb Township, so that's terrific. I also like to thank the Parks and Rec Department for doing a fantastic job with the Easter extravaganza. We had a lot of fun at, and there was a lot of really excited kids, that participated. You guys do a great job with that. Thank you. And of course, the fire department doing an amazing job, pulling together the complex and difficult task, expensive task of bringing in our two new, very modern and very capable vehicles that are going to help protect our community. It was also a special moment when we had one of the last remaining original firefighter from Macomb Township, Mr. Miller, was outside appreciating the new trucks as well. So it was great to see our current fire department crew with Mr. Miller, one of the original firefighters in the township, talking fire together and celebrating the new trucks. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Light. Clerk Posey.
Dave, if you hadn't heard it enough, thank you very much for your commitment to Friends of Macomb. The scholarships that you present to students give them a future that they may not have had. So thank you to your commitment to that organization and all the hard work and effort your group puts into that. Also, congratulations. And thank you to the fire department for all their hard work in getting the new engines up in front and showing off today. That's all I have.
Thank you, Clerk Posey. Just want to echo my colleagues. The Easter event was great, as always. Parks and Rec always put on a first-class event. It was very well attended. All the kids had a great time, at least the ones that talked to me did. I don't know about the ones that talked to Leon.
Better time.
Thank you to the fire department for indulging us today by bringing out the two big, bright, shiny new trucks with all the lights and the water cannons. It was great that our most senior fire department alumni could be out there with our brand new equipment. I think he really enjoyed it. And we got some photos to share with everybody later. So, Hazardous Waste Day is this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you can get all of the details on our website. And lastly, I got my other notes here. So I want to take a moment to congratulate Dakota High School's Health Occupation Students of America chapter. And for those that don't know what that is, those students who are considering the medical field, there's an organization where they can actually go and compete at the state level in various tasks regarding, their future in the medical field. So there are over 3,000 registered competitors and advisors and guests at this year's event. And out of that, a number of Dakota students placed in the top positions in various categories, 4 of which took first place, and those were first place in patient care, Rachel Iafredi, first place in phlebotomy, Brianna Classy, first place in sports medicine, Caroline Jenna, and first place in creative problem solving, went to Giselle Nahas and Ava Higgendorf, the 2 of them, so 5 total first place. So congratulations to them, and it's good to know that we have future doctors, nurses, and medical professionals right here in Macomb Township. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or discussion?
Discussion.
What would you like to discuss?
Our next meeting date again, if you could remind me.
If there's no more questions or discussion, motion by Trustee Lucido, supported by Treasurer, or supported by Trustee,
No, motion by me,
I'm sorry, motion by
Who
Clerk
made the
Posey,
motion?
supported.
Clarification.
All right,
Trustee Lucido,
motion,
Lucido?
at 7:08.
members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. This meeting is adjourned. At 7:08.